Let's go.
Okay,
I'm
so
Okay.
all right, let's go for it. Let's go for the gusto.
All right. I'm starting with you in this way.
Okay, go ahead.
You said you want to find something new, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Do you know what kind of job position area you want to go for?
All right. So I'm a little, honestly, I'm a little confused by it. So, uh, there's the, I know I want to do something that has to do with marketing. Okay.
Okay.
I don't necessarily want to do something that has to do with, helping people find careers.
Okay.
So as we move in that direction, I say to myself, what do I enjoy? Number one. Number two is, what am I really good at? All right. In recent history. All right. What am I good at? So that's how I kind of started thinking about it. And I don't honestly know whether that's the right approach, Larry, but if that is, then I can talk about some of maybe my thoughts on that issue.
Well, I think there are two sides to it. One side is what you think internally, and the other side is what the world thinks externally. And the way
Am I allowed to use the F word in this, or no? Can I?
you can use whatever you want if it's we're going public here. So
well, part of it is that at my point in life, sometimes you want to say just F the world. I want to do what it is that I want to do. Okay. And that always is the dilemma, because as you started saying to me, there's, what do I think of sort of myself and what I want to do, and what is the external world? And I don't know what the external world necessarily thinks yet, because I'm not looking at myself in the mirror that way. But yes, I
had a suggestion for you.
Yes, go ahead.
And this is what I use with many clients.
Okay.
And that is, you can present yourself to people that you know. I'm sure you have a lot of people that you know, and you can say to them, I'm really at the point where I want to change what I'm doing, and here's what I would like to do. Now, if you're pure of heart, you're not looking for a job, but you are looking for their feedback. Like, what fields do you know out there would fit me? What kind of compensation, psychic and monetarily, would they provide? What kind of skills, maybe that I have, maybe that I don't have, since you know me, could I really find that were useful? I'm sure you could invent at least 10 questions about that. And I'm sure you have, knowing you, that you have at least 10 people, Bobby, that you could talk to. Now, I always insist, if you're going to do this, that
I need to make some notes here.
Oh, good.
Hang on a second.
Please do.
And the other question I have is as we're talking, is there do you have any like checklists like this that you could send me that would be helpful? Like, the 10 questions to ask your friends or something. I don't know. I mean, maybe that's an article, but it's some.
That's the homework. You develop 10 questions. I only have one that I insist you insert, and that's number 4.
Which is?
Who else do you know who I can talk to about this?
Okay, who else do you know that I can talk to about this? And so the question really, you said something earlier, and I just want to make sure I get this right. You said to ask people. You talked about 2 things. One is skills, okay, And then you said something else. I don't know, you used some other term. I'll have to play the recording back maybe later. But
That's
you said,
okay. What you can ask them is, first of all, you have to be prepared to describe yourself in a good, serious, positive way. They know a little about you. They know, some of them know more than you think.
right.
And you can say, I am really considering making a change. The change would be for me to really pursue what you said, something I think in marketing, but I'm not sure about it. Now, based on what you know about me, based on what I've told you about what I've done, what kind of areas do you think might be open to me? Might be a good area for me to investigate.
okay. Okay. I got it.
Now, a lot of these people are going to ask you for a resume.
They're going to ask me for a resume. You mean the people who I'm talking about, my friends, you mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And it's not a bad idea to have one.
Okay.
Do you have a
Which,
resume?
no, of course not.
Oh,
The last time I did a resume
well,
was
then
it, I mean,
that's,
I have LinkedIn, obviously, as you know, but the last time I did a resume was somewhere around the turn of well, some decade.
some the turn of the century.
It
Okay.
was it was sometime after 1975, but not much past that. So
Now, what I'm going to ask you to do
yes,
is go and talk to these 10 friends.
yes.
Now, if you want to work on a resume first, that's something that we need to do.
Well, I
We
think
need to get you at least an outline of where you've worked and what you've done.
well, I think what I was going to say to you is that outline exists. I think reasonably well. I can't say it's articulated well, but in terms of the framework, exists on LinkedIn today. All right. So the historical nature of it pretty much exists there, but it's not necessarily. It might be too little, too much, or wrong completely. All right. So we
For,
could say
for, yeah, for these people, Bobby, it doesn't need to be polished or anything, but
right.
some massive information that they could scan and maybe reflect on what they know. Okay, so that's step one.
Hmm.
You're prepared. Are you prepared and committed to go to 10 people and talk to them?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, some of I may have to do like this. You know, I may have to have it because they're not physically here. But
That's even better.
yeah, so I would perhaps ask them to do this with me. Might be an approach that I haven't thought of before, but I think we could do it this way. And could I find 10 people? I think so. I mean, are they
We're
willing
going to
to?
make a list right now.
Well, I have a list, I think, in my mind.
Well, let's hear it.
Okay, here we go. You want me to give you the actual names? No, I don't want to give their names because
Well, just,
I'll give you their first names.
yeah,
I'll
the
give you
first names.
okay.
That's all I want.
So Michael, and not as in my son Michael, though actually my son Michael might be a good person to ask from a different perspective because I worked with him before, but he wasn't on the list initially.
He's number two.
Okay, we'll give him number two. I would say that my friend Jonathan, who's a long-term friend who knows me, my friend Rita, who I worked with for years and has a really interesting perspective. I think one of my actual people who work with me, Miriam, is a phenomenal person to, I think, ask because she has real-time introspective and she'd be very open, I think, in answering my questions. I think One of the people that I spend a lot of time with, a guy named Marshall, who I work with. Another one named Noah, who is a client that I do business with in my marketing efforts. Um, I think. Let me think who else that I'm trying to get some recent. Ba, 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 ba. Well, I've got so far one, two, three, four,
Seven.
five, six, seven so far.
Seven.
Um, let's see, who else should I ask that I've worked with? I'm trying to think recent stuff. Um,
Doesn't always have to be somebody you've worked with.
okay, actually, I think a guy who I've recently met. His name is Abe, but I think he could be very insightful in what I'm doing. And then in my sort of uh, I'm thinking of some of my sort of nonprofit political stuff that I do. I think it's someone who might be nice, critical. Maria might be a good one. So how many do I got? Eight, nine? What do I got?
Nine. You
Nine.
want to do Paul?
No, not Paul, because he doesn't know.
That's fine.
I don't think. And then the last one. I'm going to think about the last one. I don't have the last one yet, but I'll leave that one open for the moment because I want to look at this list again and ponder it and see that I get a balance of people who, know me personally well and also who, I know who. Actually, my best friend from childhood, I'm going to put two people down, Perry and Howard, because they both know me forever. They talk to me all the time about stuff, and one of them might be better because he's does more business stuff today. But Perry or Howard, one of those two.
Now, I want you to send me the questions.
Okay.
You want to know, not my questions, your questions about what would help you on this effort, on this project, on this journey.
So when you say questions, I just want to make sure I have context. When you say the questions, you're talking about the questions that I'm going to be talking to my friends about? Is that you mean the 10 questions, or are we talking about something else now?
You said you might be interested in pursuing something in marketing.
Yes.
That's wonderful and vague.
Yes.
Okay. Being that it's worthwhile talking to your friends about such things as, where might my talents be useful? Where could I make a contribution? Where could I earn a lot of money? I don't know. What's in your mind that you want to know about this?
Okay, but again, I just want to make sure what you're still saying. You're saying these are the questions I'm going to be asking my friends, the ones I'm sending to you, that you're asking me to send to you. My assignment here. Is that what the questions that I'm
the questions that you're asking your friends.
Okay, all right. That's what I wanted to make sure. All right.
And the second thing is, whatever you put together as a written resume, send it to me. Whether it's just a list of jobs you've held and things you've done.
Okay. All right, I can do that.
I think that's a good start. That'll get you oriented. That'll match what you want inside with what's out there in other people's minds.
So the goal of this, I just want to make sure the goal of this for me is to match what I want with reality.
Other people's reality.
Okay, yes.
Now, it's also, the fourth question is very important because the fourth question takes you beyond the circle of the 10 people. It takes you into a network.
Right.
When they refer you, it makes it easy for you no matter how shy, and I don't think you're shy, but many of my clients are,
Yes.
to pick up the phone or have a video with, say, Jonathan refers you to somebody else. You can say, Jonathan referred me, and I wonder if you'd spare half an hour of your time. I have 10 questions I'd like to ask you. He said you'd be a good resource to talk to. Okay.
But by the way, I want to ask something. How much time do you think I should allocate for these conversations? I know they can go short or longer, but I mean, I want to, I don't want to overburden my friends either. So to do the 10 questions in conversation, what is kind of your experience of reasonable amount of time?
I believe it's organic. Sometimes your friends will spend 3 hours with you. Sometimes your friends will spend 10 minutes.
Right.
That's organic.
But
So
let's just
it'll
say,
vary.
well, the reason why
I don't believe that you need to set that. I believe initially you should ask for half an hour of their time.
okay, all right, that's all I'm asking. What's being
Yeah.
respectful when we start the conversation?
You can say, do you have half an hour that we could spend together
Okay.
on this really important subject to me, because I'm really considering a shift in my life?
Okay, I got it.
Okay, let me tell you about one experience with this.
Okay.
I had a client who was a psychology MA. He had a practice. Actually, it was in Philadelphia. He had a practice in Center City. He was tired of working individually with dysfunctional families. So he went back to Penn to get a PhD. He wanted to teach and become a professor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I coached him through some of the PhD part because they were giving him boot camp type of troubles.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he got his PhD and he went out looking in a radius of about 125 miles around Philadelphia because he didn't want to move for any kind of teaching job at a college or university.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Long and short of it was he couldn't find one that was really open. He applied, I think, for one, but didn't get it. And he called me and I said, what do I do? And one of the things I said to him was, what you do is consider this a marketing project at this point. Let's get every single college and university that you could work at within the 125 miles. Let's see if they're hiring. And a very small percentage was hiring. I forget the exact number, but maybe 6%. And we agreed beforehand that they would either hire somebody who was already employed there, or
Mm-hmm.
somebody they knew at a college and university that their staff felt comfortable with. So the odds were not so good for a new PhD.
Got it.
He said, what do I do now? I said, go to plan B. Plan B was what you're starting on. For 3 months, he did this, really extending beyond his friends. He got 3 job offers. One, the EPA offered him a job because his dissertation was about a love canal type incident in New Jersey. Okay. The second job he got offered was to turn his dissertation into a book because it was about that. And the third one was to make a documentary about it.
That sounds very cool. That sounds very cool.
He didn't want that.
Right, that wasn't who wanted. Okay, I got it. It sounds cool. Sounds cool to me,
but it was interesting for him.
Yeah, I got it.
3 months, he got a little disgusted because he wasn't turning up anything. And he said, I remember the day, he said, I'm going to visit somebody at the Wharton School. My professor at Penn suggested I talk to him as part of what I've been doing. He went and talked to the guy at the Wharton School for an hour. And the guy was a professor there. He's teaching there and working there. He said, come back next week. I want to talk to you some more. I'm really interested in what we've talked about. My client came back. He talked to the professor again, and the professor said, I want to offer you a job. I have companies come in from all over the world because they're dysfunctional. I'd like you to work with them as if they were families. He said, I'm happy to. I'd love it. He said, yeah, I think you'd be a perfect fit. I've always wanted to have that, but I've never been able to find anybody.
Wow.
He said, there's one problem. I can't pay you. He said, you'd have to write a grant to get the money.
Mm-hmm.
So my client did write the grant, and they got partial funding, and he went on. He became a consultant who consults internationally. That happened after 2 years working at the Wharton School.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
And you know what he told me? I never, in my wildest dreams, would have thought I ended up this way.
Well, I think that's...
And you know what? He just recently became a fellow at one of the Wharton schools.
Wow. Well, it just shows you, the path, I guess the point here is the path, you just don't know where it'll lead, and that's, I guess, part of it.
That's scary for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Especially if your income is dependent on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think a lot of people are very pressured and can't deal with that open-endedness. But it can be fun. An interesting discovery. You'll find out a lot.
Well, I'm going to find out a lot of it. Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. So, all right. Well, let's conclude today. Okay, and I will put that list together. I expect to get that. I expect to do some of this over the next 2 weeks, but holiday season, as much as I would like to do it, I'm already committed for a lot of stuff. But I think we should still plan on having another call if you can next week to keep things going. You have to tell me what your schedule is, but I would like to do that. And just even if it inches, it doesn't go as fast as we might think, but who knows? I may end up, because of my time allocation right now, my daughter's off school, etc. I may not have as much time as normal, but we'll see.
What day next week?
I could do it in the morning on, let me just check it. I'm thinking Tuesday, but let me just confirm that. 29th. Yeah, I could do it in the morning at same time, like around 9:15, 9:30, whatever works for you. Tuesday, the 29th.
I'm writing it in my book.
Okay, so let's say 9:15 again.
That'll work.
All right, we're good. I don't know if you're gonna, just as a final note, if you do have a chance to get the microphone thing going, it would be great in the interim for the next one. But I sent you the link, and I'll send you this other link when it's done again to listen to it, and let's see how it looks. And we'll make it better and better as we move along. Okay.
I'm excited, Bobby.
Yeah, I think it's going to be good. It was a good session. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Larry. I know you're not a doctor. I know you're not a doctor, but I feel
coach.
I know. Thank you. Thank you, E-Job Coach Larry. We appreciate it. So, and you enjoy the rest of your weekend. If I don't talk to you, have a Merry Christmas, a happy holiday there, and we'll get back together next week.
I wish you and your family a very good Christmas, Hanukkah,
right,
and New Year's. And
thank you very much.
The new year be a wonderful one for you.
Thanks. Take care.
You take care too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.